Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your end of January 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. Okay. Okay. Being a Sun and Sag myself, I'm always curious. Ooh, two cards came out. Let's put the Eight of Wands afterwards. So in the second part of January, this is where all the fun begins because we're going to be past the retrogrades after the 22nd when Uranus goes direct. And so for that last week in particular, and going into March and beyond, we have like opportunities to have that clean slate experience that we expect at the new year. So think about that in terms of what has been happening in your life thus far in 2023. If you feel like you are kind of living in extension of 2022, then that might be why. The heart of the matter is the King of Swords, and this is a card of practicing neutrality. I mean, I'm looking at this in a positive way, practicing detachment, ultimate detachment from a situation that may have been plaguing you, may have been bothering you. And people don't really realize this, but we are emotional. Fire signs are emotional like water. It's not the same expression of emotion for sure. I think we can get more hot under the collar very easily, but we feel things very deeply, and so sometimes that interferes with our ability just to do what we need to do in certain situations where we kind of like feel emotionally connected to us, or not really connected, but kind of like triggered or something like that with a certain situation. It's hard just to like let it go. But this can be the best thing for us. Another thing too is that the King of Swords could be a person in your life, for better or worse. I mean, this could be a father or a father figure in your life, and maybe you feel like you can't reach this person, that they're very, they always know exactly what to say, but there's always this sense that there's like this emotional void. And, you know, that might be something that you've been dealing with for many years and you don't feel like you're really connecting with this person. Or a partner, could be a partner as well. And that has led you to feel frustration. Also, again, this might be you having to deal with making a difficult decision about a relationship and putting aside your feelings that keep you, caught up in it. In the past position, we have the Knight of Pentacles, and actually the King of Swords can be a boss, especially if it's a boss who doesn't give much praise and you feel like you don't know where you stand with that person. And the reason I say that is because the Knight of Pentacles can be that perfect worker who's always like, very diligent and maybe feeling like, what do I have to do to get like some praise or to get a raise? It's funny that praise and raise are almost the same word, isn't it? But yeah, I think sometimes that's one of the things that is the most discouraging thing when you're working, is if you don't feel like you're being fed, not your ego being fed, but just like fed by appreciation, like, hey, thank you, you're such an important asset. to what we're doing here, and things like that. The higher message is the Five of Swords. So, in a particular situation, for instance, if you are upset about a partner's freeze out, emotional freeze out, it could be saying that they are cheating, that they are kind of detaching from you emotionally, and you could sense it because they are doing something behind your back. The same thing can apply to work matters. You know, if you have had a relatively good relationship in the office place, and all of a sudden it seems like everybody is acting strange towards you, there could be something going on behind the scenes, and that could be why they are not as emotionally engaged with you. And the importance of the Knight of Pentacles is to show that you may have been that diligent worker, but you have to remember that sometimes it has nothing to do with your job performance. It could have to do with people who are playing favorites, who are afraid of somebody else looking better than them professionally, so they're trying to eliminate that, whatever it is. So don't be afraid to, or I should say, don't automatically jump to some kind of conclusion that you are not doing a good job, or if this is in your romantic life, that you're not enough for somebody else. They may not be enough for themselves. They may be going through some kind of confusion in their life, and they don't know how to cope with that. So they're looking for, admiration. Maybe they're looking for that stimulation. I was going to say stimulation, literally. No, I'm just kidding. But actually what I meant was not stimulation, but distraction from their problems. What crosses you, which is the challenge card, is the Five of Pentacles, which is lack consciousness. This is not normal or typical for Sag people. But some of us have been dealing with issues like, for instance, where is Saturn right now? Well, Saturn is in the third house for Sag, and this can sometimes lead to pessimistic thoughts that are of limitations. And this is the card of poverty consciousness or lack consciousness. So I could see how Saturn could negatively impact thoughts, because usually Sag is very proactive and positive when it comes to their mental state. So how does that translate? Well, if somebody's in a job situation that feels uncomfortable, like you feel like you're on the chopping block, you could always get ahead of it by just deciding to quit. But of course, you may feel afraid to, because you don't have another job lined up. And, I wouldn't say, I'm not one of those people that says, oh yeah, go for it. Because there's a saying that if you leap, the universe will provide a net. Well, maybe that's a nice saying, and maybe there's some truth to that, but I also think that we have to have something, like not just complete concrete. Maybe we don't have to make it completely cushy, but maybe it doesn't have to be completely hard either. So it's possible to be very prudent about these things and at the same time not be fear-based. I think that it is. And same with your love life. Are you tolerating somebody that you really don't have that kind of rapport with, because you're afraid of being alone, or you think that you'll never have another relationship again? That line of thinking is not coming from a positive place. It isn't a positive motivation. It's very fear based and um, you know, lack consciousness. What is coming in is the Four of Wands. Now I want to make an observation here. The last three cards that I picked, and these two cards were together and I didn't realize it, are all fire energy. The Strength card is connected to Leo. And then we have the Eight of Wands and the Four of Wands. So that to me is very nice because we have at the top, we have two Swords cards and Pentacles, and even the Knight of Pentacles is holding a sword. And the sword relates to the mind. So it has that detachment, but it also can be about conflicts, drama, some kind of things like that. So it can have challenging aspects to it. And then the Five of Pentacles. We have two Pentacles and two Swords. And those are more detached energy. This is more passionate energy. The Four of Wands is a card of a new home. I would just say a new residence and altogether, a happy marriage. So if you have been in some kind of a situation, oh yeah, that I forgot to say, the King of Swords could be a judge. So it could be like that this decision that you're awaiting kind of opens the door for you to pursue a life that is much happier, because the Four of Wands, even if you're single, it's like you don't dread going home anymore because you know that even if you're alone, you are going to have a great time because you're going to generate your own positive energy. You don't have to protect yourself against somebody who is negative in your presence, who you have to worry about. With the Five of Swords, you always have to worry, what are they up to? What are they doing? That's no way to live. The Four of Wands could be a new residence, could be a new home. There could be some kind of happy family scenario that is coming into fruition for you. And then the outcome, these two cards, one of them is a Strength card. To me, it's almost like a pat on the back to say that you're getting your mojo back. Sag, if you've been through the ringer, emotionally, financially. There was something, oh yes, Jupiter. See, I told you that the Strength card is connected to Leo. Well, Leo rules the fifth house in astrology, and transit-wise, Jupiter has recently gone into the fifth house in Aries. So for Sag, this could be a timing card, perhaps, of better days ahead. And then we have the Eight of Wands, full steam ahead. Meaning that, to me, this is a card of potential energy being realized, where maybe you've been waiting just for a certain time for everything to start coming alive again, coming into motion. And actually, this could be a lot of back and forth communication, a lot of things, maybe offers, things coming at you at once when you've been through this kind of a holding pattern. So if you have felt like everything has been kind of put on hold, gear up for perhaps a lot of fresh energy, fiery energy coming in and making things, and maybe again, fiery energy. I was thinking, well, what is fire? Well, again, that Jupiter, the ruler of Sag, in a fire sign, in Aries. And that could be something that if you have been divorced, and that's what the King of Swords represents, the judge's decision, and you've been kind of twiddling your thumbs, you might start getting all kinds of being asked out on different dates, and your social life suddenly picks up, but it's like on steroids. And so you might feel like you went from one extreme to the other, but you can look at it and say, wow, I'm a lot happier that I'm busy rather than not busy. And same with work matters. Or if you have your own business, you're getting a lot of orders and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to complain about this because I'm so happy. Okay, Sag, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a personal reading, I have some specials going on. They're package readings. They're, 2 readings in one for a special price. And I have standalone readings. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.